The number of Republicans who believe they have a chance of becoming president has not yet cracked triple digits. Hey, it's early, especially when you consider there's another in the fold who has failed before, and one who has failed before who scuttled any chances by defending an admitted child molester. Let's loose the political animal, start the entertainment. Our first guest, veteran economist, political commentator, professor of business at the University of Maryland, Peter Morici. And we're joined by veteran White House correspondent and Newsmax chief political columnist, John Gizzi. Gentlemen, I thank you both for joining us. And Peter, I'm going to begin with you on this one, because certainly Rick Santorum, everybody knew that it was going to be eventuality. He would try to become president again. Now, forgetting the fact that he might or might not really have any chance here, but is it possible that he picks up some of that far-right vote then from Mike Huckabee after Mike Huckabee just absolutely torpedoed himself over this Duggar incident?
Oh, he could, but I don't think that he becomes a credible candidate. My feeling is that Santorum is a fringe candidate. He did not have a good first outing, and that generally does not portend well for success in the future. I don't see him as a major force.
What do you think, John? Major force or somebody just out there to go ahead and make some policy come the convention?
You know, in case you haven't noticed, gentlemen, the first in the nation Iowa caucuses are not going to be held until January. The first in the nation New Hampshire primary not till February. The convention not until the early part of the summer. It is a long way off, and anyone who dismisses another candidate at this point does not understand the unpredictability of the campaign trail. Let me just point out, I also find it most amusing to hear Senator Santorum and Governor Huckabee dismissed as far-right or fringe, when I've covered so many Republican activists who say both of them disappointed their conservative activist base because of apostasies on the spending issues. So, again, it depends on whose proverbial ox is gored.
I am going to put a lot of faith in what Mr. Gizzi says inside the Beltway. Peter, back to you. Well, let's see. We have President Obama's current immigration delay. Again, we have the Supreme Court waiting on Obamacare. So forgetting whether or not this is going to lead to a legacy here, Peter, but what, in your opinion, becomes the president's next moves if indeed he loses in the Supreme Court and if nothing happens on immigration until next year?
Well, he really can't do much about immigration until the court battle settles out. And then he has to negotiate with Congress. At that point, he's very lame duck, and it's doubtful that anything would happen to his liking. If he loses on Obamacare, if the Supreme Court, votes against him, which I'm not optimistic it will, then he has to essentially negotiate with the Senate and the House. And the House could be very, very tough. The Senate's likely willing to make a deal that will be hard for him to swallow, giving up the individual mandate. But the House might not even be willing to make a deal under any circumstances to extend the subsidies. I think that would be very poor strategy on the part of Republicans, but never underestimate the Tea Party to torpedo the broader Republican prospects.
John, where does that dealing start and end on Obamacare?
Well, I would say never underestimate the ability of this president to fumble the burden of people who are not getting their health care if the court decision goes in favor of the plaintiff and against the Affordable Care Act. Chairman Paul Ryan of the House Ways and Means Committee, someone I've interviewed on a number of occasions, always said, just remember, the president signed into law a bill that's known as Obamacare. That speaks volumes. No, he is not going to like a decision that goes against him, and he's not going to help his political adversaries. What people are hoping in the House for is a temporary measure to last until January 2017. Chairman Ryan and Fred Upton, chairman of the House Energy Committee, are for it, and this would end the mandates but permit people to purchase a health care plan of their own choice between now and next January, and essentially keep the trappings of Obamacare without the mandate. And then, of course, hope that a Republican is president who can sign a new health care plan.
Got about,
Senator Bill
hang on one sec,
Cassidy
John. Got to stop you there. I got
one.
45 seconds left. I need a quick answer from both of you. First of all, to Peter Morici, the president is urging the Senate to renew the phone records program. This as we wait and see what happens with the Patriot Act. Interesting now, even this president wants to make sure the spying continues.
Well, I think the security people, the defense people, feel they need to be able to track phone records. I'm somewhat sympathetic. I don't know that the metadata is really as threatening as conservatives have made it out to be. And so I can understand his position, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets some help in the Senate. The House, that's something else.
Do you think, John, that the president will get any sympathy on this?
Yeah, I definitely think he will, because remember, he has come around on this to being one of the stalwart champions of the Patriot Act, something that was thought out of the question before. I listened to Josh Earnest at the White House defend the reauthorization of the Patriot Act almost on a daily basis.
We'll wait
so
and
I believe
see. We
he
have
will
to stop
get
it there
sympathy.
because we're all out of time. But again, as you said, he will get sympathy. Gentlemen, thanks so much. And the Hardline continues.